What's going on, guys? In today's video I want to talk about Bitcoin and what's going on there, why we might be heading lower soon. I also want to talk about the Bitcoin miners. They have been dropping today. We have some upcoming dates to look out for, and we'll start off by talking about Bitcoin and an important level of support that it looks like we're just now breaking. Now, we've been watching this ascending support for a while. We'll see if the market reacts to it, but it does look like we're breaking this ascending support. It was previously resistance. It played out as support for about a month, and now it looks like we're breaking it. Now, if the market reacts to a break of this support, our next level to watch will be the psychological 40,000 and also the 100 EMA, which is right around $40,000. That could turn out to be our next level of support. And you can see that once we broke that 50 MA, it became a resistance. And maybe this break of support for Bitcoin is causing more of a pullback for the miners. CleanSpark is looking at an over 7% drop today. And honestly, I'm excited because now on the RSI, we are so close to oversold. And you'll notice that ever since the bull run started back in early 2023, CleanSpark has typically bounced right at that oversold level. And in previous history, every time we've got down to this oversold level, it has turned out to be a great buy point. I personally don't expect much more pain for these miners. Most of them are all getting towards oversold now, and they have all retraced pretty heavily from their previous peak. This may turn out to be a bouncing off point. It was a previous resistance here. Back in August of 2022, the level we're at right now was a resistance point. And again in August of 2023. But if this previous resistance doesn't flip as a support, there is a likelihood we head down to $6, which is also where the 200 MA is currently sitting at. Now, we also have something exciting coming up for CleanSpark in only a few weeks, and that's going to be their earnings. And this earnings is going to go over October, November, and December. And the exciting thing here is when they gave their revenue expectations, this was back when Bitcoin was trading in the 25 to 30,000s. They gave their projections on a Bitcoin at that price. And since Bitcoin has moved drastically through October, November, and December, I do expect them to exceed their revenue expectations, and we are going to see a record quarter for revenue. And I think that'll be the ongoing theme, at least until the halving comes and rewards get cut. This quarter and next quarter, the quarter we're currently in, we should see record quarters for revenue. And we had a recent quarter where they posted like a $12 million loss. And as we progress through this next bull run, once we get past mining rewards being cut, and once we see Bitcoin's price drastically appreciate throughout 2024 and 2025, I do expect CleanSpark to get to profitability in this bull run. But let me know what you guys have been doing. Have you been picking up shares? I think now's a great time, being that we're getting very close to oversold, but we could certainly drop a little bit more from here. Now, another thing to look out for here is Sphere 3D is going to be posting their mining update, and it could drop any day now. This is a micro cap Bitcoin miner, very small hash rate, but very small market cap. And I do think when we get into these hype cycles, Sphere 3D will move up massively. But keep an eye on their investor relations tab. This is where they'll post their mining update. I will be covering it when it comes out. Looking at Sphere 3D, it's dropped nearly 60% from its top. I have been adding to Sphere 3D recently. One thing that we haven't seen for this, and also a potential for so much selling off anytime we run up, is because we have not yet seen our golden cross. We have not seen the 200 and the 50 MA cross yet. A lot of miners have already seen this, and for Sphere 3D, this remains to be seen still. But on this recent pop, on this recent run up, we did get awful close to seeing a golden cross. I do expect we'll see this golden cross within a few months here. And just like CleanSpark, Sphere 3D is also expecting a record quarter for revenue, getting up into the 7 millions, and only a few earnings back they're pulling in 5 million, pulling in 3 million, and lower as you go down the quarters. But I do expect them to continue growing their revenue. They have been getting more machines up and hashing, and while this is a risky, very small Bitcoin miner, I do think when liquidity flows into the Bitcoin miners as a whole, it'll take a small amount of money to really move Sphere 3D up in price. And we've seen in history these crazy 50% up days, 30% up days. I do expect we'll see more of that once we get back to a bullish trend. But for now, be careful with these miners. They've been recently all pulling back. If you're not a long-term investor, I wouldn't be catching these falling knives necessarily. As these miners start getting more towards oversold, we can anticipate a bounce soon. And while I don't necessarily think CleanSpark's going to fall much more from here, I do think there's a possibility that Sphere 3D can still keep falling. And one area I'm planning on picking up some more Sphere 3D is right around the 150s. This was a previous resistance point. Once we broke out of it, we went on our parabolic run. It was also a resistance point back in October. And I do think at the least the market will attempt to maintain it as a support. We'll see if it holds or not. But for me, that is a great entry point, and I will continue buying some Sphere 3D and taking advantage of these drop on the Bitcoin miners. And yes, one thing to realize is the rewards are getting cut in the halving, and while we can potentially expect a drop somewhere around that news, the market might be pricing that in already. The market's always forwards looking, and we might be pricing that in right now. And while in previous videos I said we're probably going to see one more pop before the halving, and then see a drop after the halving once rewards are cut, there's always the possibility that things play out differently. The market may already be pricing in that drop from rewards being cut, and then we can potentially run right through halving. But to me, regardless of what happens in the next 3 to 6 months, what happens around the halving, how things go up and go down around that point, I do believe buying the fear, I do believe buying through the next 3 to 6 months will play out to be the way to go, and these Bitcoin miners will be much higher in 2024, and 2025 is going to be that exciting run year. So the way I'm looking at it for 2024 is trying to accumulate as much shares as possible, because I do believe these miners are going to be much higher in price. I'm not looking a month out, I'm not looking 3 months out, I'm looking a year and a half out. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think these Bitcoin miners are going to be much lower by the end of 2024? Do you think we're not going to see all-time highs in this bull cycle? I still believe it's all but guaranteed. And despite the recent pessimism with Bitcoin and the spot Bitcoin ETFs, and the recent pessimism with all these Bitcoin miners, you know, these are the times that I'm excited. These are the times that I love to buy. When everyone's running away, when everyone's fearful, when everyone's saying these are POS stocks, that's my indicator that it's time to buy heavy. But remember, the halving is only 3 months away now, and we are definitely in for some exciting times. There are going to be shakeouts like these along the way, where the market causes you to question your sanity, where the market causes you to question your life choices. But I think looking back, people will envy being able to buy at this time. Just like when we look back only a few months ago, back when CleanSpark was in the 2s, back when Sphere 3D was under $1, back when Bitcoin was in the 20Ks, everyone calling for things to go much lower, and then what happened? They went much higher. Buying during the fear on your high conviction stocks, how can you complain? Thanks as always for watching, guys. Let me know what you're buying out there. How are you feeling about the market right now? Let me know what you think about the upcoming halving. Are Bitcoin miners going higher, or are they going to drop because of rewards being cut? Or is that already being priced in right now? Always love to hear your thoughts. Let me know down below. Thanks as always, guys, and I'll see you next time.